example, some of us, possibly call it, what was it, Cinco de Drinko last night. So hopefully everybody saw it this morning. But I would like to introduce you to Adela Randazzo. She's one of our top producer. And I mean, let's just go straight into it. Talking about just a killer out there and dominating the RTV market and luxury market as well. So Adela, let's segue it into, how did you get into the business?
Well, how did I get into the business? I was in school, was getting my degree in biochemistry, and I was going to be a doctor, I thought. And I got pregnant and I had a baby, but that wasn't going to stop me. I graduated, I got my degree, and then was working on some post-baccalaureate classes for med school. And I got pregnant with my second baby, and then I had a bunch of issues with the baby, and she needed therapy and surgeries. And for 3 years, she had a bunch of issues. So I never went back to school. And I didn't like my realtor when I was selling my house. And I felt like I was telling her how to do her job. And then when I saw how much I was paying her on the estimated net sheet, I was like, what?
You're like, why am I paying you all this?
I'm like, why am I going to keep going to school with med school? I'm going to sell real estate.
There you go.
Yeah. And that's how I got into real estate. I got my license, and then I started right away. Like I said, the guy I'm going to go to the Kings game tomorrow with his wife and his son. He owns a bunch of college apartment buildings throughout the United States. USC, Texas, Michigan, Arizona. So my mom was actually working at the Jewish temple here on 7th Street in San Pedro. And I was in high school, so I started babysitting for them.
Aww.
And then that turned into me managing their management companies and helping them open up mail and file and do all this stuff throughout college. And then because of him, really is why I got into real estate, because I saw how much potential there was in real estate. And I knew that not that I'm motivated to be rich, but I wanted a better lifestyle than I had grown up in an apartment building in San Pedro with my mom. I wanted a yard, I wanted a house, I wanted to do all these things. And I wanted a life that was going to provide that for me. So I always thought, oh, well, Scott's rich, doing real estate. I'm going to do real estate. And then was like another motivating factor or just kind of the road just went that way. And let's see. So then I did my classes. I started holding open houses every weekend for two years in a row, Saturday and Sundays. I mean, I was hustling. I was door knocking. I was calling every realtor, see if I could hold their open houses. I was following up. I was sending emails immediately after the open house. I look back now and I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I would do it now. I'm so tired.
Yeah, but you also have raised two beautiful young ladies as well. And, if you don't know Adela, she's one of the most awesome mom ever. You're so involved, and your passion for real estate and for your family definitely shine. And I've met some of Adela's clients, and they absolutely adore you. They're constantly talking about you, and they're your repeat clients as well. They refer you to all of their people as well. But you are a prime example of how we should all be as a real estate agent. And for that, we are very grateful for you. No, and what an inspiration, an inspirational story. I mean, from a doctor to a real estate agent, that's a total two dynamic worlds right there.
I'm glad I chose this one.
Yeah, we do too. We do too. So last year you had one of your biggest year ever, even through the pandemic. How did you fare through all that and still literally told COVID to basically take a flying leap and kill your business? Like,
I kept working.
Yeah.
I kept working. I didn't stop. I remember when it hit, a bunch of our escrows fell apart. I was crying. And then I just, I kept going. I was masked up, bootied up, gloves on. It became harder, but I didn't stop. And a lot of people maybe stopped, and it just opened up, I think, more opportunities for those that kept hustling. So I did. I kept working hard, and then I'm really involved in my daughter's school. I'm on the PTA. I'm on the Peninsula Education Foundation. I'm an honor roll. I donate to the district, so I'm on their magazines. I'm very involved with that. So I think that has opened up a lot as far as getting into like the Palos Verdes market. I think that has opened up a lot of opportunities for me. Obviously the San Pedro market, I was born and raised in San Pedro, my husband too. So we're heavy with our sphere of influence. And I care, I care a lot about my clients. Like, I don't sleep good at night if I know my client's anxious. And I explain that to people, like, dude, your client's stressed out. They're stressed out. If they call you, answer. Even if they're going to yell, or even if you're going to have to hear them bitch, answer, and just be a soft voice on the other end and encourage and tell them you got their back, you're there. Because they're losing it, realistically speaking, right?
Right. Well, especially in the market that your clients, I guess price range is not, we're not talking about a couple $100,000. You're working with multi-million-dollar type client. So I would think that if they're not stressing out, something's wrong with them.
They're they need a lot of attention. So just always give a lot of attention. Some aren't stressed out, some don't really care, but it's a stressful situation coordinating moves and the escrow process, and people want a lot in repair requests, or they don't want to give any, and you just have to be the middleman and learn how to navigate those different personalities, and always be I guess a breath of fresh air if you can. But everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes people aren't happy, but
absolutely. No, it's just how you navigate it, like you said. I love that. So give me a scenario, or give us a scenario, what one of your best transaction, and another one on one of your most challenging transaction that you've ever had in your entire career. I know.
Well, there's always a really challenging one. You almost forget the ones that go by you, but
Right.
one of the easiest transactions I've ever had, I don't know, I've had quite a few really easy ones, where I was just like, it just autopilot. And then you have your team, right? You have your TC, you have your good escrow company, and they really help the autopilot. So once you do what you have to do as far as inspections, repairs, and everything go, you hope that your team, takes it to the end. And sometimes there's hiccups. So I can't really think, it's, I guess, smooth. There's nothing really to talk about. You get over asked, all contingencies removed, close on time, everyone's happy. That's one of the smoothest ones, and probably had that one last year. It was
Right.
all contingencies removed from the start.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
And
want one of those too.
we're seeing a lot now because
Yeah.
of the competition. People are doing that to get their offers accepted. And one of the most challenging transactions was probably involved doing my own transaction, because there's no middleman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I dealt with people who are liars, who don't disclose, who you move into a property and they move their furniture and there's huge water damage that wasn't disclosed.
Look,
And an agent that helps his buyer. Okay, so like rent back, right? There was a rent back, and I said, I saw the buyer parking on my AstroTurf with a car with flat tires. I'm like driving by, like, what, you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Using my house as their dog house while they traveled, the dog scratching like during the rent back, and then demanding a key, and they give me a key. They didn't want to give me a key, but it was on the contract, so they had to give me a key. They give me a fake key.
Wow. That's just honestly, I'm just speechless. I don't even know what to say.
Just to make me be quiet, gave me a fake key. Yeah, I didn't come test the door, but at the close of escrow, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, the key we gave you was fake, basically.
Wow.
So go try the key when you get those keys for your rent backs, because people are shady and they don't care that you're another agent in town. Some realtors think they're really big and they don't care. They think you'll just roll over, but don't roll over.
Yeah, no, and that's a great advice too. Always stand firm. Reach out to your leadership team if you ever run into any type of issues like that. You're not alone. We're here to support each other, right? The honest
Yeah.
reality. And don't ever feel that I can't do certain things, because you can, and we will. Thank you for that. So, what about I know you do have a team now, you and
Yeah.
Anna, and yes, I love it. You guys are like the dynamic duo. How does that even how did that transpire? What triggered you to say, you know what, it's time for me to leverage. It's time for me to build that team. When did you figure that out?
Well, I was getting really burnt out and I started coaching with Grace.
Hmm.
And Grace really helped me, actually. I think she's part of the reason why I'm doing so well. I needed that. I was running on just hard work and I wasn't working. I was working harder, not smarter. And I have my kids and my family and I wasn't having time. I was going through other assistants, because once you're successful, everyone wants to work for you.
Right.
Everyone wants to help you, but then you give them the opportunity and they don't want to work. They think real estate is easy. They have a perception of what that is not.
Correct.
So then they stop working because they're not working once they realize the work that it really takes place. And they want to do the glamorous fun job, but they don't want to do the work that you don't want to do anymore. The work that you don't have time to do. You have to go be with clients. You don't have time to do the admin stuff that you have to start doing when you're from the bottom. And Anna's great at it. Anna is so I went through two people and then Grace kept telling me, no, Adela, I don't think they're going to be a match. They're not a match on your disc profile. And then I felt bad, I was like, well, their mom is this person or this person's that person. So I'd hire them, but Grace was right. So actually Anna's a match to me. And I told her from the start that she'd have to make sure she was a match. Because the other two hadn't worked out. And Anna's mom is my good friend. I met Anna's mom at an open house.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting started in the business and I sold them their house in Long Beach and then their house in San Pedro. And they come from a hardworking family that's hungry. They own a management, maintenance company. And they built it from the bottom to the top. So they know what it takes to build a business from the bottom to the top. They came from Honduras. And then just are really making a good, great family business for a legacy for themselves. And Anna got her license. And I know that her mom is a hungry worker. And I know that Anna was going to also be, and that's what I needed. And then she was my match. So it worked. And I'm really happy with Anna, by the way.
I love that.
Thank you so much, Adela. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are definitely a dynamic duo. And those of you that's on the call, if you ever feel that, you're at where Adela's at, you're getting kind of like burning candles on the both ends. I mean, that's basically what you were doing, right? You were literally burning it from all ends. So, and you realize that you just can't continue doing this, to yourself. So you start leveraging. And I love that, you reached out and you asked for help and yeah, finding Anna was definitely a good match and a good fit for you. So, and again, that also helped alleviate you doing the admin work and continue building your business on the front end and being the face of your team. And I love that. Now, what does a day in Adela Randazzo's life look like?
All right. Well, for instance, today I was going to be with you lovely people by 8 a.m. and I had to look presentable, of course. And I have two kids who start school at 8:15. So one is sick at home and she's on the couch right now doing a breathing treatment and breakfast and my hair, and send the other one off to school. She caught the bus this morning because I wasn't going to be able to drive her. And now I have a handyman coming to my house to hang my chandelier at 8 something. So my husband's on his way home from work and he's got of what he's going to tell the handyman of what to do and how to do it. And after this, I have to upload a listing, and then I have to, and then the day goes on. At 1, I have to meet with the handyman at my client's house because they're going to paint the whole house along with the designer. And then at 4, that'll take a long time. And then at 4, I'm getting picked up to go to the Kings game with clients. And then waking up tomorrow to do it all over again every single day.
I love it. So do you take any time off for yourself and your family at all?
You know what it's like being a realtor. I don't even think we have a day off. I mean, if I happen to have a day where I don't get a phone call and I actually don't have anything to do, I like lay on the couch.
Yeah, I know. I think that's kind of all of us, right? The day that you have off, you definitely just, you're like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not even getting up. Like those are the good days.
I don't think I've had a day off in 7 or 8 years, but it's my personality.
Right.
I'm like obsessive compulsive. Like if I know there's something to do, I can't relax. I'll just go do it because I can't say, well, I'm going to wait until tomorrow.
That's your high D and your high I. We're definitely alike.
Yeah. It's worse thinking about it than just doing it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that kind of falls in, who you are, right? You're an executioner. I mean, that's what I'm going to label you. I mean, you make sure that you're going to go and just execute it and get things done. So, I mean, there are quite a few of us that are either kickstarting our business again, or we have some new agents on here. What are your advices, to those that are either starting off or, they went into a hiatus and now coming back into the real estate world? What is it that you would tell us?
Live and breathe it. I mean, download podcasts, like when you're driving, listen to the updated market so that if someone asks you something and you have no clue, at least you'll just repeat what you heard on the podcast, because it's about constantly evolving and the market's constantly changing. I mean, from the beginning of, thank God I've been on a rise, right? I've never seen a down market, which a lot of agents have. And what I do, I ask those agents sometimes, like, hey, what do you think of this market? Like, you've been around for 40 years. You were the REO king. Like, what happens? And he's like, don't worry, Adela, there's a market for everyone. And you're going to make money even on down markets. Like, I was the REO king. I had like 6, 7 people on my team, you talk to people and you ask questions. Don't ever be stale, don't ever be lame. Just talk, be cool to people, and people will tell you everything they know. And then you can share that with clients. I remember people used to be like, oh my God, Adela never shuts up about real estate, but hey, look where you are now. Yeah. That's how I was. And now I don't really want to talk about it. I'm like, oh my God, here these people want to talk about it. Like, I'm so tired of talking about it. But
because you're living and breathing it, like you said.
Yeah, but now it kind of snowballed, all my past clients, referrals. Now it all of a sudden, like, I get a random call, like, oh, we were referred to us by a friend of a past client of yours. And I'm like, okay, great. Here I come,
Yeah, no, I love that. And when did you break through into the luxury market? I mean, that had to be an accomplishment as well, and something to celebrate when it did happen for you.
Well, it started at baby steps, right? So I started in the San Pedro market. I mean, I was driving to Corona, girl, to sell like a $300,000 house. Like, I'm not kidding.
Hey, where the money's at, we go.
Yes. And I remember someone asked me one day, like, is it really worth it for you, Adela, to drive all the way out there hours and hours every weekend? I was like, I have to right now. I'm getting started. Like, yes, I want to drive that far. And what do you mean you don't want to do that? Like, you're crazy for not wanting to hustle like that. Like, yeah, exactly. That was my response. Now I'm like, oh no, I have to do it.
Like, now I get to leverage it out.
Yeah. So then I started selling opportunities, sphere of influence, people who were a little bit older than me and wanted to give me an opportunity. They saw that I was selling and they wanted to give me an opportunity to list their house in RPV. That got me another listing in RPV. Then it got me my neighbor's house in RPV. Then it got me into the neighbor's house in RPV that wanted to sell and buy higher up on the hill. And then that led to a friend of theirs that wanted to sell on the Eastview side and buy higher up on the hill. That led to my big client mentor that I'm still working with. He's obsessed with real estate, and to thinking, hey, I'm going to give this girl a shot, and just closed that $8.7 million deal with him.
Wow, congratulations.
And I'm going to sell, and it's very hard to break into the luxury market. Some of those agents don't want to let you in.
No. Well, yeah, and I think that's the unfortunate part. And, like your client said, there's a business for everybody. And quite, the honest truth is too, that there is plenty of business out there. It doesn't make any sense to get closed off, but I understand that the luxury market, it's kind of like a group, but once you're in, right? But if you're trying to get in, it's hard. And how did you navigate through that challenges where, you're like, look, I have all this, I'm going to do it, and I'm coming in and I'm going to come in hot. Like, but what was your mentality? What was your, kind of your attitude towards that?
You just keep going like you always have. You just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep doing your best, writing the best offer, advising your clients, getting clients that are loyal to you. Like there was a point where I told Scott, I go, hey, listen, Scott, I go, we've been going on 2 years here. Like, why don't you just call the agent and have him represent you? I don't need it. I don't need the money. I'd rather you be happy. Like, this is a great house. And he goes, I'm not going anywhere without you.
Oh, that's amazing. Building that loyalty. And how many years you said that you built this relationship with the client?
20 years.
Wow.
I babysat his kids that are now in college. One's getting his doctorate.
Wow. That's a strength in relationship right there. I love that.
Be good to people. Always be good to people. Don't ever screw anyone over. It's not worth it. It's not worth them screwing them over for $5. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Absolutely. And then in regards to, I guess I know like now a lot of your businesses are referral based. Do you still lead generate?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I still, Anna and I cold call. We are trying to get set up with, the title tool that the home bought, and, other different things that are constantly evolving, that technology is getting better. We're going to be working on that. I get sign calls still. We follow up on people who call from the signs. Yeah, it's always lead generating. We always have to do that. I have to constantly be working on the PTA and the PEF, and it's volunteer work, but it's lead generation.
Right. It's putting yourself out there.
And it's also good for your kids, and your kids to see you're involved in their school. So how do you manage having kids and working? You work at their school.
Yeah, no, I love that. Well, you kill two birds with one stone. Yeah.
Yeah. You work with their friends' parents. You work with, you have their friends over for play dates. You work it with, you incorporate your kids and your life into it. And then, yeah.
I love that. And then when you do have the play dates, now I'm curious. So let's say I'm coming over for a play date with my children with you. How do you segue that into the real estate business? Does a lot of the parents just go, Adela, what do you do for work? Or do they kind of just,
they already know.
Yeah. Okay. No, I love that. Yeah. I'm always, it's always very curious to hear, a lot of our top producers, how do you lead generate? Do you still lead generate? But I mean, you're still doing it, so which means that we have no excuse. You're killing the $8 million, $10 million deals, and you're still cold calling. I mean, that is literally something to say.
Our broker told us once, I remember I got a mobile home listing, and I still I said, oh, it's my first listing. Well, it's just a mobile home listing. And he looked at me, he goes, that's your bread and butter.
Exactly. No, absolutely. No listing is just a listing, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a $5,000 lease or a $10 million deal. So I always believe that a deal is a deal, and it's knowledge that nobody can take from us. And we just move forward with that. That is amazing. I love that. So aside from that, what about our Keller Williams, how, do you attend our family reunions, our mega camps when you started? What about Bold? I
did Bold 3 years.
I love that. And how did it go for you when you did Bold?
You know what? I'm very hard to control.
Okay.
I tried to make myself do follow the steps in Bold, and it helped me do things that I would have never done. And it helped me, it even to this day, it's like I told Scott, because he always was always teaching me and writing on his, I remember I'd be filing for him and he'd write on his whiteboard and this, that, and the other, and just teaching me. And I have like ADD. So I act like I'm doing things while I'm listening. So it's like what I told him the other day, I said, even though you don't think I'm listening, I just want you to know that I am.
Right.
And it's like that with Bold. I was listening, and even though I'm not following Bold to a T, I'm still applying things I learned in Bold on a daily basis.
That's amazing. You know, absolutely, 100%. And I think that's what it is. You know, I mean, it's always a, you know, a curiosity, and Bold does set the foundation for that. And I love what you said. It's an uncomfortable situation, but that's okay, because that's when we get our biggest, you know, breakthrough, right? But I love that. Thank you for that. And then what is your, you know, what about family reunion or mega camp? Like, have you attended those as well?
You know, I have not attended family reunion or mega camp.
Okay.
Part of the reason I haven't done it is because it's for like, you know, the week or the weekend, and my kids are still little and they're in their sports, and I try and do as much as I can learning in the business. That I can. I listen to podcasts, Tom Ferry, I read books, I read, I still try and educate myself, even though I don't attend these mega events, but for me, it's just too much to leave my family.
I agree. No, I totally understand. And you know
but
what?
I want to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? We're going to Austin and oh, how funny. We need to the punch. We're going to Austin in August. Everyone's going. I love that. Well, and the girls are a little bit older now, so I think that, you know, well, I'll give Joey a call and go, hey, we're stealing Adela to make us. You know? Okay, I'll call Joey today. I love that. I love that. Well, so thank you. Like, I love the feedback, and, you know, I hope that a lot of our agents here understand, you know, don't feel discouraged. You know, where you start, it only matters about the journey, and there's no destination, right? I mean, for you don't have a final destination, so to speak. You're constantly keep pushing it forward. And what about for 2022? Where is Adela gonna be by the end of this year? Where do you want to be, as you know, as where your team is?
Oh, well, I mean, I wanted to become a listing agent more than a buyer's agent.
Right.
And this year I've so far had more listings than buyers.
Nice.
So I don't know if that's because there's a shift in the market, or is because I'm finally implementing my goal. So it would be, you know, kind of giving the buyers over to Anna, and we're working on that right now, training her on how to handle buyers. And then, you know, we focus more on the listing side of it. So that's my focus right now, is that I think that might be a possibility. And, you know, eventually, you know, just getting bigger, because Anna's going to be helping too, and she's a hard worker. So, and then maybe I can start taking a little more time off. She's helped me take a little more time off. There's been days where I'm like, oh yeah, I can have Anna do that. You know, like I don't have to do it. But so hopefully eventually just Anna knowing my style well enough to, you know, sometimes do it. Like, we're still training, you know, she's still learning. She's a new agent. So, and she's also my admin. So I'm training her on admin. We're learning that. She's doing a great job, but I'm also training her constantly on how to handle our clients, our buyers, all of that. So I think hopefully by the end of the year, I hope that she will be more on autopilot and more secure and confident and just doing it. So that's the goal for us.
I love that. And then is one of your goals to hang on your top producer, #1 top producer title?
Oh my gosh. Now I'm like, oh, well, now I'm a team. So I better get #1 team.
Exactly. No pressure, but I thought I'd throw it out there.
I don't like pressure.
What are you talking about? You handle pressure like a champ. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah. My biggest year, my dad died, and my father-in-law.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I know it was very, very tough, but you know what? You you pushed it forward. You were not only a super woman, like you were a super mom, and you did everything that you could, still going through your grievance and still able to launch or continue to build your business. I mean, what an inspiration. So I love you for that.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
also being a giving person, I'm part of a local church, community church, and we, tithe our money. We give to the church. We bless them, and we get blessed in return. When I got into the industry, I made a promise that I would always be donating my money, to the church and for the cause to help, kids around the world, orphanages around the world. We bought beds for, we just always giving back to God, and God will continue to bless you and give you an abundance of blessings that you can ever even imagine. Like I just bought a beautiful house that I could have never imagined I would have bought ever. I thought my forever house was going to be the house I'm going to list next week. And I walked through my house that I have now, and I'm embarrassed, and I feel, I think I'm having like imposter syndrome because I grew up like poor,
yeah,
And
yeah, I get it.
so I walk around, I'm like, do I belong here? Like, is this normal? Like what? And I just think, you know what, it is, because we made a promise to God to be good people and to bless others. And why not receive a blessing in return?
Yep, absolutely. No, and Sunshine's right. Yes, you do belong. You give, and you give so much, give so much, and it's okay to accept the blessings that you're now in, right? And I love that. That's amazing. I didn't realize that you're so involved in the church, and I would love to, support as well where we can. And any of you that is currently on our call too, if you're part of an organization that you're passionate about, please share with us, because we're all here to support, and we love charity work. I mean, that's kind of part of who we are, and also our KW organization as well. We're always giving, so don't feel that you don't have the support. Again, personally, professionally, we're all here for you. But Adela, well, last word. What else shall we? What else can you tell us? For us to go and do. Like, what is your advice?
Just be passionate every day. Be passionate. If you feel that you're not being passionate one day about your work, put on a podcast. Those guys are so inspiring, and they just elevate you. Sometimes it's just our shitty mood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if we wake up every day and just change our mindset from, that stinking thinking to be happy and passionate, be grateful for the client who's stressed out and calling you, be grateful for the client who's going to call you because they need help because their closed escrow on the roof just leaked.
Yeah.
Be grateful that you are there to offer them the support that they need, even though it's stressful to you. Just be grateful that you are there for people and able to help them with your knowledge and your expertise. Awesome. And let's hope they listen.
Yeah, exactly. They will. They have
to.
They
don't sometimes, but all you can do is do your best.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know, you're a very busy woman, but we do appreciate you taking the time and being with us this morning. We're very grateful. Your story is absolutely very inspirational. Sunshine is already on, she's going to be knocking on that luxury market as well. So thank you for that. And thank you for everyone else for being with us this morning. And please, again, don't be afraid to reach out to us if you want to catapult your business. Just Adela is a prime example. You go from a mobile home to now doing multi-million-dollar listings. So just remember that, everything is possible, and there's no drunk monkey on your shoulder, and knock them off and push it forward.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Believe in yourself. Yeah. Believe in yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, babe. We love you, and we're very grateful to be in business with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, you guys.
Awesome session. Great session. Thank you.
Thanks, Manny.
Thank you, Manny.